So we're standing out here in Brattonsville at the history marker for the Battle of Huck's defeat. So James Williamson of Fishing Creek settled and built a log cabin not too far from here. And Captain Huck and 120 British and Loyalist troops encamped there for the night. The next morning they were attacked and defeated by 140 Patriot militiamen led by Colonel William Bratton, which became known as Huck's defeat, or the Battle of Williamson's Plantation. This is a replica of a headstone for a man named Watt, who was sent by Bratton's wife to go inform Bratton that Huck's men were at the plantation. So we're gonna go see if we can find the battlefield for Huck's defeat. I think this is where the battle began. So the Battle of Huck's defeat began right here when William Bratton and his men attacked the Loyalist militia. After wounding and killing many of them, they advanced towards Williamson's plantation where the rest of the provincial troops were camped. This sign talks about how Colonels Bratton and Neal attacked the British Legion Cavalry and the New York Volunteer Infantry under the command of Colonel Lacey and Captain McClure. And after Lieutenant William Adamson of the New York Volunteers, this fella here was mortally wounded. Captain Huck, which is this fella here, and all his dragoons, led several unsuccessful charges against Patriot militia, who used this split rail fence as cover. So this ghost frame, they call it, I don't know if you can see it, that ghost frame of a house all here was actually a house that Captain Huck posted himself in. So Captain Huck, while trying to escape, was fired upon and killed, and John Carroll of Fishing Creek was given credit. This whole battle only lasted about 15 minutes, but more than 30 British loyalists and soldiers were killed, and over 50 were wounded and captured. Here's a sign of what the combatants may have looked like. The Whigs or the militiamen, the British. This is what Captain Huck's men would have looked like. And then Black Pioneer provincial troops. This is another episode in our series, The American Revolution in South Carolina. This is an event that we did not expect to be so large. When we bought the tickets, we thought it was just going to be a real quick reenactment, and then we would go home. But they have got the entire town built up and dedicated to what the area would have looked like 240 years ago. Go to some of the events. They've got a whole schedule of events that they put out with times and everything and locations. There's a great map to show you around. So we're gonna go walk around and experience some of the culture and some of the events that they have here. But before we get started, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. turn on post notifications, and like our video. And we also are on Instagram, so go ahead and follow us on Instagram, okay? Now we're gonna go walk around. Let's go. So this is the Brattonsville Academy, built in 1840. And what's really neat is that the teacher, Catherine Ladd, ended up being hired at the newly built school in Feasterville, which if you remember our video from Mobley's Meeting House, we were actually in Feasterville where that school was built. Little piggies.
I guess. Excellent. So you turn a half a turn. Let's try this again. About face. Outstanding. Now we know our lefts and our rights, fronts and our backs. Now we must get to the battlefield. How do we get to the battlefield? Do we run like crazy? March. We march! Excellent. And I'm pretty sure y'all are going to say the same thing, won't you? Forward! March! 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 Left! Left foot! Left foot! Left foot! Left foot! Left! 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 Oh! Keep going, keep going, keep going. Against your shoulder. Straight up in the air. Left hand on that gun. The reason why that is so that way when I tell you to turn, you're not hitting the person beside you.
So this is an old gin house, and not the kind of gin you drink, but where they had the cotton gin to separate the seeds from the cotton fiber. This isn't the original building that was there. This building was brought in, but the archaeological studies suggest that there was an actual cotton gin house or a gin house at this location. So it looks like that's where they may have stored all the cotton after it had been separated from the seeds, and then this would be part of the mechanical structure where they would bring the raw cotton in and separate it. This is the doctor's office.
Surgeon.
The surgeon's office, my mistake.
Yep. If I can't cure what's wrong with you, I'll remove it.
See?
Oh, he's gone. Whoops.
He's out. Very nice.
I'm not sick anymore.
So now we're heading to the musket and artillery demonstration. Now we're gonna have the musket and cannon demonstration.
The flintlock is an external ignition system. It consists of two main parts to make the musket explode. A piece of rock. So this rock will scrape off bits of metal and superheat it, and it will land in this pan. It'll then catch an external charge of black powder that will go through a small touch hole in the barrel, ignite the main charge, sending the ball downrange. It is not sharp, it is merely pointy. Its triangular shape and its propensity for being thrust into a body cavity and twisted makes it a very lethal weapon. It creates a hole that is irregular in shape and does not heal properly, even by today's medical standards. So, that was the main way to carry the field during the 18th century. You would soften them up with your bullets, starting at about 200 to 300 yards, and then once you closed in to within 50, fire one last time and drive them off with the bayonet. To the right about. Thanks. So, for simplicity's sake, we will be using paper cartridges. Cock back the weapon, tear the tail off of the cartridge. From there, they will then prime the pan, shut the pan, cast about the piece, dump the rest of the charge down the barrel. They will then remove their rammer, make sure that the ball is firmly seated at the breech. If it is not, and there is an air gap between the charge and the ball, the gun will explode. They will then return the rammer because without it, it is impossible to reload again, and they will come to the shoulder. This lets the officer know that they are ready to fire. Bring the weapon up, bring it to full cock, freeze it, fire!
What?
Fire! Cannons were not known by a caliber or a size of the bore. It was the weight of the cannonball. So a 3-pound cannon shoots a 3-pound cannonball. They were solid shot. They didn't explode, despite what you probably see in a lot of movies. There was a similar type cannon, but it was called a howitzer, and that may have been mounted on it's a mortar that's a little bit longer mortar. It's mounted on a field carriage that's known as a howitzer. That would fire shells that had a fuse in them at higher elevations. These cannons can't elevate that high. So when we're done with the demonstration, we're going to wheel it back into the shade, and that way you can come up, ask questions. We'll show you the different rounds that we would have fired out of the cannon. A cannon is a crew-served weapon. Everything goes down the barrel, much like a musket that you just saw. The powder goes down, followed by whatever you're going to fire. Cannonball, grape shot, canister. It's a crew-served weapon, so that enables us to quickly load and fire this cannon. So a musket, about 15 seconds average to load and fire a musket. A cannon, we're 18 to 20 seconds for each round, based on the fact that we've got multiple people doing different stations. Ideally, you'd have a 6-man crew. We've got 5 today. So the person up front on the worm, he's going to do double duty. He'll come back and be what's called the powder monkey. The powder is in this chest back here. So the powder monkey runs the powder up, so you'll see him go back and also do that roll. So it'll be a little bit slower. Ram cartridge. Harder. All right, there we go. Prime. All right, we're loaded now, so we're going to fire. It is kind of loud, so if you're sensitive to loud, cover your ears. Fire! Battlefield command, load! Fire!
Show you a little bit about how horses would be moved on the field. Tell you a little bit about how the dragoons fought. They were used for a lot of different things. When they were not fighting, they were used as guards for foraging parties. Foraging is when you go out to get food for the army. They'd send wagons and infantry, and they would send horse with them so that they could defend against patriots. Everybody has to get their 2 cents worth. So they would send the horse so that if they were attacked, they could charge the folks that attacked them. we have official uniforms. So some of us are in our waistcoats, but the men with the green coats, that's a unit designation. They have a jockey's helmet, which is made out of boiled japanned leather. They boil the leather to make it hard, form it on a mold to make it fit your head, and then it's painted with a black paint or dye. And then in this case, they have a bearskin crest. That offers additional protection against sword blows. More importantly, it lets you know who your friend is, okay? You're not all, well, generally if they knew they were going to have a battle, they would wear their coats, but if they were just on the march, they might have them tied to the saddle. On a day like today, they're probably not wearing them.
The army?
You have what?
Snipers in the army?
Snipers?
Snipers. Well, sort of, yeah. The cavalry didn't, okay? But a lot of the American forces, both loyalists and patriots, used rifles. And that brings up another point. So a rifle inside the barrel has a twist carved into the barrel, and it makes the bullet spin when it goes out. But the way you loaded a rifle was you put the ball here, and then you pushed it down. And as you pushed it down, that ball would take the groove and it would twist all the way down. And it took a lot of work to get it in there. It might take you a minute or a minute and a half just to drive that ball all the way down into the rifle. When you shot it, you could easily, a good shot could hit somebody at the other end of this field and shoot him with that rifle. It's extremely accurate. After he shoots, he's defenseless because it takes him almost 2 minutes to reload. So if we came out on this field and they took a shot at us, the first thing we would do would be draw our swords and ride as fast as we could to get that rifleman and cut him down before he could reload his weapon.
We're preparing for the battle. So behind me is the field where they're going to have the reenactment for the battle at Williamson's Plantation.
Enemy approaching!
No people will hate there, but that's the British. I'm pushing it. Enjoy. Oh, okay.
Keep it straight.
They're gonna flank them.
How?
The horses, they're gonna flank them.
I'm sick. What if it's smoke in the air? Oh, they don't see the horses coming. They don't see the horses coming. No, they see the horses. You see him laying down? Oh God, they all.
You want to push him, Davey? Push him. Go ahead. Cease fire. You can go. Hard. Run, quick, march. You can make me! Drop your arm! You can make me! Thank you!
He's not having it.
So that's it from Historic Brattonsville and the Battle of Williamson's Plantation and Huck's defeat, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get in the car and go home. It's real hot out here today in July in South Carolina. So we're gonna go get in our air-conditioned car and cool off. But before we do, make sure you click that subscribe button right there.
Yes, sir.
Right? Thank you. Yep. Follow us on our website, comeseeitall.com.
Sir. And
I'll put it
also
over
make
there.
sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and hit everything to subscribe to our channel.
That's right. All right, until then, bye.
Bye. And make sure to do it. Do it, sir.